It's my favorite evening. I'm pacing around the floor. Got southern woods and waters gonna take me out the door. Got coffee on the perkin. I'm about to have some fun. They'll have my mind chasing some critter on the run. Bring it on, southern woods and waters. Make me hear that sound of a fish that's breaking water or the bawling of some hounds. Make me smell that river mud, feel clean air on my face. Bring it on, southern woods and waters. Show me that special place.
Probably about 11-inch crappie.
Hello everyone, Dayton Blair here, and welcome to another edition of Southern Woods and Waters. Brandon's out today on vacation. They're headed back from redfish in Georgia, and you got us tonight. We got a good show for you. We got some students from Bethel. Going to let you know about some scholarships, how they got to where they are, and how you can get to where you're going to be. So I've got a few guests with me in here tonight. We're going to pan out. I've got Mickey Beck, local angler, one of my best friends, a good buddy of mine. We've known each other a long time. And Richard on the end. Y'all have seen Richard. He's the cameraman here at Southern Woods and Waters. So we got a good show, and I guess, you know, we're going to talk a little about what's been going on, Mickey Beck.
A lot of fishing.
A lot of fishing. How you been doing on it?
Been doing decent. I wouldn't say great, but
Right.
Been doing decent.
All right. What about deer hunting? You going to do any hunting this year? You going to stay on the water?
Man, I tell you what, I got a monster roaming in the backyard, and he comes around about once a month. It ain't time for him yet,
Right.
so I'm still dead into fishing.
Right.
And it's prime time for fishing, though.
Oh yeah.
And big girls coming up, and hopefully whack
there
on
any
some this
shad
weekend.
anywhere?
Oh man, you can walk on them minnows out there, boy.
Yeah, I'm
you can
telling
sure
you.
walk on them minnows.
Yeah, but we got a good show for y'all, and you know, it's just pretty much the same. Brandon's out of town this week, and we're going to wing it by and see what we can get y'all going. Richard, how you been doing?
Good.
What you got going on for the show? Anything coming up?
We got some more Bass Nation coming up.
That's a good thing.
And then,
Jake
of
Davis?
course, deer hunting.
Yep.
You know, squirrel season's open.
Yep. Late season dove season starts October the 10th, Saturday. So if you dove hunters that's got a field out, it's that time. You know, doves are still around. They ain't left yet. We're going to get a bunch of weather this weekend, so it's going to be another dilemma. We're calling 3 to 5 inches of rain.
Let her pour, baby.
So, I mean, get your rain suits out and just hope it, you know, and your galoshes, because it's coming. That hurricane coming in up off the coast is really bringing some moisture this time.
Yes.
Well, Mickey, what's your plans for the next few weeks?
Well, this weekend, I got a softball tournament out there at Old Hickory, a softball fishing tournament.
Right.
Donating a softball, benefit a softball team, excuse me.
Right.
And Sunday, you got the max size tournament.
Yep.
Happens, I don't know how many years it's been,
This will be the 5th year.
4th or 5th year?
5th year.
It's a great tournament,
Well, I tell you what, we're going to roll into the video with the Bethel and the scholarships with Chase and them, and let's see what they got for us there, Taylor.
We're here today on the beautiful campus of Bethel University in my hometown. Years ago, this was Bethel College, but it's grown and expanded much more quickly and become a world-renowned university. The 13th best business school in the country. Have a nursing school here. They've added football and soccer, and what brings us here today? They've added collegiate bass fishing. Not only has it been added since 2009, but there are several national championships involved. And I'm here today, joined with 2 of the fishermen from the collegiate team. This is Sadie to my right, and over here is Chase to my extreme right. We followed you guys when you were in high school. You've both been on Southern Woods and Waters before, so you kind of know the routine of what we do. We talk about a little bit of everything. You were at the Scotts Hill team, or club, right? And you came from the Henry County team,
Yes.
correct? Okay, great. Both of you are freshmen this year, getting ready to start your collegiate career fishing. Chase, when did you start fishing?
I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and me and my family was camping down at the river in Perryville, Tennessee, and my aunt took me down to the riverbank, and she gave me this little cartoon rod, and she helped me cast it out. And I remember we was fishing with bobbers and worms, and I remember me getting my first bite. She told me to start reeling. I reeled it in. It was just a little brim, but it was my first fish, and I mean, it's one of the ones I remember the most.
Fins and scales, you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Does she still fish?
She does not. She used to crappie fish a lot, but she does not fish no more.
Now you have to get her out on your bass boat soon.
Right.
Sadie, when did you start fishing?
I was about 4 years old, and we had multiple ponds down from the house, and a guy that lived down the road from us would raise catfish and other fish in his pond, and he always told my dad to bring me down there to fish. So one day Dad and I had went down there, and I was so little, and I just walked down to the bank, and Dad's like, all right, you can't get too close. And he'd cast my rod out there, and he tried showing me how to tie the knots and all that, which I never remembered. But next thing I know, I was kind of sitting on the ground holding the rod, and the next thing I know is it goes off. Dad's like, you gotta pick that up and start reeling it. And I was so small, I was trying so hard, but he'd have to like hold the poke for me so I could reel it. And I got it was like a 4-pound catfish.
So when did you decide? What made you go, I want to bass fish, I want to fish on a competitive level in high school, middle school, and move on to the collegiate level? What lit your fire?
I was in 7th grade, and I went to church with my best friend, and he invited me to come to the weigh-in at Beach Lake. They was fishing the Coca-Cola Classic, and
It's Beach Lake in Lexington, Tennessee, correct?
yeah, correct. And he said come to the weigh-in, so I went to the weigh-in, and they had a massive bag. They had 26 pound, and so I looked at my dad. I said, I want to do that. I said, I want to competitively fish. And so the next year, I got involved in Kids First Fishing down at Pickwick, and they're all about the youth. It's an awesome thing. And that kind of just started me off, and it went from there.
That's awesome. How about you, Sadie? What turned you on? What made you say, I want to fish?
I was in middle school as well, and which my dad always fished like FLW, and he traveled all over the world, and he would always, which he also fished out of a club, Two Rivers out of Paris, and he'd always have little tournaments. Sometimes he'd fish with his friends, and one day I told him I want to go fish. So he took me out, and I was his partner on one of the tournaments, and we had got there early that morning. He's like, do you want to fish for big fish too? And I was like, yeah, I want to fish. So he had like put my entry fee in for the big bass, and we fished all day. I was worn out. I knew it was hot, and I was so sweaty, and he was like, you just got to stay calm, and he'd teach me how to like run the trolling motor, and he'd show me like the fish on the map and everything. And all I remember is he always told me, when you set the hook, you just swing your arm like you're swinging a bat backwards. And that's what I'd done. I'd set the hook. Next thing I know, it was like a 5.5 pounder, and I ended up winning the big bass pot. And he said that's all I talked about for like 2 months is how I won it.
That will hook you, no
Yeah.
doubt. That'll do it. That'll do it.
So we would get kids in from Lexington High School, Riverside, different schools, homeschool kids. I mean, we would get them involved. And so the kids that was on the team, you might only see at tournaments or at meetings. So that's a big difference I have here, because I see the kids that I fish with every day. I room with them in my dorm. You get really close and all. And having a boat captain, I mean, you rely on what they taught you and what experience you have, and you make decisions on your own and don't rely on your captain as much anymore.
So a big responsibility there. How about you, Sadie? What's the difference about your high school? Because you fished in a high school. I believe your mom was together.
I think the biggest thing is kind of like what Chase said. Well, unlike my high school, we were a team. We didn't have like outside homeschoolers or anything like that. So we did see our team members a lot of the time. But like, I think the biggest thing is like coming to college, like kind of relying more on our teammates to help us, and we're kind of talking with our teammates on what our game plan is, and we're working as a team more as when we were in high school. It was kind of us two and our boat captain, And the captains weren't more on, I mean, they'd talk, but it was kind of more we were actually team against team, and here it's like a whole group team against another team.
It's an adjustment, especially from high school. I mean, because college and high school are obviously a big difference. And so you just manage your time well. You'll get work done ahead of time, and maybe go to the lake the next day. So Kentucky Lake's 20 minutes from here, and you got a lot of little lakes in the county and whatnot. So I mean, if you manage your time well and get your homework done and stuff, because I mean, you got to keep your grades up if you want to be able to fish. So you got to keep your grades up, and then that you just go fishing.
So I try to keep the weekends like family time or fishing time, and then weekdays, Monday through Fridays, all work, schoolwork and job, and then Sunday or Saturday and Sundays is church, family time, and fishing if I got time. So.
Good combination. That's a good combination. So, what's your favorite lake?
Mine would probably have to be Kentucky Lake, just because that's my home lake. That's what I grew up on. That's like, I could go out there and I can tell you where we've got little underground stuff put in that a lot of people don't know about, because my dad grew up in Big Sandy, so that's all his home lake too, and that's just what we like to do. It's got everything we like.
I need to go fish with you. We might fish some of the same places over
Okay.
there. How about you, Chase? What's your favorite lake?
Of course, I love Pickwick. Pickwick's an awesome fishery, and I grew up on Pickwick, so I like deep fishing, ledge fishing, stuff like that. But there was this lake that I went to, I think my sophomore year in high school. It's the place that I qualified for my first ever nationals. And we went down there, and it's full of big spots, Lake, full of big spots. And you think that a largemouth fault, you have it called a spot, of course a smallmouth, but spots. I just love catching spots, and it was 3 or 4 pound spots after another, so I love that.
And I think Lake is kind of a secret to a lot of people. That just don't realize it.
Right.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming out today and inviting me up and showing me around the campus. It's changed quite a bit since I was here back years ago. And I want to wish you luck in the future. I think you're going to be fishing here pretty soon.
Yeah, me and our kid I'm fishing with is on the way to Gunnersville next week. So
Oh, okay, good.
my first college tournament, I'm excited.
Oh, in Gunnersville, great lake.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
lake coming down close to my area. How about you? Are you fishing that one?
My partner and I decided we're not going to fish that one. We're going to still get adjusted to our college work, because we both got a lot. But we are fishing the 2nd and 3rd weekend of September on Kentucky Lake.
Oh, okay, good. Wish you guys luck and success with your fishing and with your school and going forward from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. What do you think about that?
That's interesting.
It's nice.
Be nice to be able to go to school and fish too. Wouldn't it?
That Gary Mason has done something for that Bethel University.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
we've got 60 teams. Did you say qualified for the nationals?
For the Nationals, that happens 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
Out of
this
Tennessee,
month.
60 teams
60
from Tennessee qualified.
Wow.
That's a lot of
boats.
kids. That's a lot of time on the water, and that's a lot of dedication.
Yes.
Well, we got just a few more minutes before we go to commercial. What do you think, Mickey?
Tell you what, what'd you say, 200 something like that?
Oh, on average, it's over 200 boats per tournament.
And you got one this weekend at Old Hickory going out of flippers.
Right.
All right. All right, y'all, we got the wild game forecast brought to you by Wilson Bank and Trust. Serving your Middle Tennessee community for over 30 years. Find them at one of your 28 locations and ask them about all your banking and financial needs, and tell them to thank you for what they do for us here at Southern Woods and Waters.
So what are the fish doing?
Well,
They-
they got the lakes already pulling them down right now. They're prepping for the rain. They've already got the generators open at Priest. Old Hickory's being sucked down. I'm sure Cordell, Hull, Center Hill, Kentucky Lake, and everybody else is probably moving some cubic feet.
Speaking of that, I got one for you. I went to Old Hickory yesterday, and midday, I'm sitting there. The water rose 55 feet in 15 minutes. 55 feet in 15 minutes.
Oh, it ain't.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. Well, tell us how it happened.
Having it happen.
I locked.
Okay.
Golly.
Yeah, you went through the lock.
Lock through.
You locked
And that's a good, it gets tough this time of year, man, over at Old Hickory. So you got to look for other ways to catch fish, whether you have to run 60 miles upriver or 60 miles downriver. I mean, locked through. Cumberland River's full of fish both directions.
And your daddy taught me that years ago, and you've helped me out as well, is that water gets stagnant, you go to the running water. And that's why Lot 3, I went down there and I had about 150 pounds worth of drum, but
Right.
wrong species.
Right. Well, we're fixing to run a commercial break, and we'll be back in a minute, y'all, for some more Southern Woods and Waters.